TSPR tool training for defining HVAC systems. In TSPR tool, each block can be served by only one type of HVAC system. Multiple HVAC units of the same type may be represented in one block. Where multiple system components serve a block, the tool calculates average values weighted by appropriate metric. For example, where a block is served by multiple fan systems, the tool calculates a weighted average fan power, which is based on the supply air CFM. Similarly, if multiple cooling systems serve a single block, the tool calculates a weighted average COP based on the weighted average cooling capacity. Similarly, for heating systems, the tool calculates a weighted average heating COP based on the heating capacity. Where multiple chillers or boilers serve a chilled water or hot water loop, the tool calculates a weighted average efficiency for the loop based on the heating or cooling capacity. HVAC systems in TSPR tool can be first specified through the mechanical equipment schedule entry form, which is available through the mechanical equipment tab, and then can be assigned to blocks at the next tab called heating and cooling. For defining the mechanical equipment schedule entries, there are 5 available tabs for VRF condenser units, plant loops, air handlers, VAV terminal units, and zone equipment. A user is required to create an equipment schedule entry in the first table and then combine it into a grouped system through the second table. So in the scenario where a block is served by multiple heat pump systems, a user could create schedule entries for each individual type of heat pump system where the capacity or the efficiency is different, and then combine it together in the system assignment table. The tool will automatically calculate a weighted average efficiency, a weighted average fan power, or any other metric. So in this table, user provided input is in the cell which is shaded in green, and the tool automatically calculates the value in the cell shaded blue. We will walk through the process of creating a schedule entry for a plant loop and then group it together in the plant loop schedule entry system assignment. We will then create an air handler using that plant loop. To create a new plant loop schedule entry, we first need to click on the button Add Schedule Entry. We can then specify an equipment ID. We can then add the number of pieces of equipment, select the equipment type from the plant type dropdown, select the fuel type from the fuel type dropdown, specify the rated capacity, the efficiency units, and then click Save Plant Schedule Entries. The tool automatically calculates the efficiency, which is here from a unit of AFUE has been converted to thermal efficiency. We can also assign this to existing plant loops, or we can create a new plant loop and assign it there. We also would need to create pump schedule entries for each plant loop. To do that, we would again click on Add Schedule Entry. Here we will create boiler pumps, which we're going to specify as variable primary. We would specify the primary pump power and the design water flow rate. This again is saved. We will now add a new plant loop in which we would connect both of the boilers we just created. So now I just clicked on Add Plant Loop. This shows all the equipment, the schedule entries which have not been assigned to an existing plant loop. I'm going to select a boiler and it shows me another plant equipment which has not been attached, and I'm going to attach that to this loop as well. Similarly, I also need to attach schedule entries. So I'm going to add one here. Specify the pump power and the water flow rate. Once all of this is done, I'm going to click on Create Plant Loop. The plant loop I just created has been added and it's displayed on the tool. The two boilers that were assigned to the plant loop are shown with a weighted average efficiency and a pump that has been assigned to the loop as well. We will also walk through an example of creating an air handler. We will go ahead and create a VAV system with hot water heating loop. We would specify an equipment ID, the number of systems. I selected package VAV with hot water reheat, which automatically set the cooling source to DX. We can specify the number of stages of cooling and also the cooling capacity, the efficiency units. For heating system, we're going to select central furnace with natural gas heating. Again, specify the heating efficiency. I'm also required to specify the controls of this system. So I specify this to have multi-zone distribution type with VAV fans, an economizer, no DCV, with ERV, and warmest zone reset. Specify the design supply airflow and the system fan power. I'm going to go ahead and save this schedule entry. Now, in order to create the terminal units for this VAV system with hot water reheat, I'm going to go to the tab VAV terminal units, where again, following the process we looked at before, I'm going to go ahead and add a schedule entry. And specify the design supply airflow and the minimum supply airflow. The tool also asks for the reheat source, which can be specified as hot water reheat, electric reheat, or gas-fired reheat. Once all the terminal units have been added, I can go ahead and assign it to the air handler. So over here, I'm going to go ahead and create a VAV with reheat air handler. So I will select the system I had just defined. This automatically sets the cooling source, the number of stages of cooling, the heating source, the fuel type, the terminal unit. I'm going to specify the reheat source as hot water plant, select the boiler hot water loop I had just created, and attach all of the reheat terminals that were created under the VAV terminal unit tab. Because we specified the system to have an ERV, we also need to specify the sensible and latent effectiveness for heating and cooling. So we will go ahead and do that. By checking the checkbox for ERV supplier temperature control, I indicate that there is bypass control for this ERV, and the bypass temperature set point can also be specified. Once all of this is done, I can click on Create Air Handler, and this system has been created. A few things to note: the tool automatically calculated the COP of the system. Here the tool and also the COP for cooling and the heating system efficiency. If I were to add more heating or cooling systems to this, the tool will automatically calculate the weighted average efficiency in each case. Once all of this is done, I can now go ahead and assign these systems to a block. When I go to the next tab for heating and cooling, all the systems I created are displayed in the left-hand panel. This is the system we just created, which is currently unassigned. In order to assign it to a block, I can first click on the block, set its thermal zone layout, This system already has a heat pump assigned, which I'm going to first delete and then go ahead and assign the VAV with 3 heat system to this block. The system gets assigned and this panel is updated. In order to assign a ventilation system, I can either drag and drop a DOAS system to this block, or if I do not specify one, the tool will assume that ventilation is being provided through the primary heating and cooling system. For help on any part of this process, you can access the user guide by clicking on the question icon on each form. This will open up the TSPR user guide, which has information on how to create systems, how to use the mechanical equipment schedule, how to assign them to a block, and how to specify different kinds of systems.